You have to learn how to let go. I'll be honest, letting go is not the easiest thing in the world, but it's absolutely necessary. When you let go of something or someone, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose yourself. It shouldn't mean that you should spiral down and you don't know where you're meant to be, or you're nothing without this person. No, that's not what this means. When you detach yourself from someone, it means that you're opening room for something much more. I feel like a lot of us hold on to something because it feels safe, or diving into the unknown is too scary. And I completely get it, right? I mean, diving into the known head first, not knowing anything what's going to bring you, is a lot more scary than holding on to someone or something and knowing it hurts because it's more comfortable. But you also have to know that how can you get what you're worth when you're holding on to something that doesn't meet your price tag? You're only being unfair to yourself. You don't deserve that. You deserve to move forward. But when we struggle to let go, we forget who we are, and to we forget to we don't think it's safe enough for us to move on. And I think that's one of the main issues here. We think we're never gonna find someone like that. And I think that's the whole point of it. The whole point is to not find someone like your ex, or not to find like a friend, or whether it's a toxic habit. That's the whole point of it. The whole point is to rebrand yourself if needed, right? And then recreate yourself right then and there. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but I am saying it's gonna be worth it. One of the main reasons we struggle with letting go is because reason number one, we let our emotions become our identity. And I think this comes with thinking that if we let go, we're gonna be like this heartless individual, or we're no longer gonna feel empathy with this person or feel bad for them, so on and so forth, right? My thing is that you can let go of a situation, you can let go of us, just accept it for what it is. You can not hate the person, not hate yourself, and yet still acknowledge your emotions at the same time. So you can validate yourself, you can validate what you feel. That being said, though, you are more than your emotions. That situation does not define you. The same way your emotions do not define you. We are multidimensional human beings, right? There's you, if you only attach yourself to labels like, oh, I feel this way, I feel that way, because of a certain situation, you're limiting yourself. Because you're more than that. Your emotions are there, yes, but they do not define you. They're a part of you, but they're not your entire identity. And I feel that's a huge problem and a huge misconception with a lot of us, because we sometimes we let our emotions overtake us, but it's okay that things don't work out for you. And if you're struggling to let go, I'm not saying it has to happen right now, I'm not saying it has to happen tomorrow, but it does have to happen eventually. And if you want to keep on moving forward, you're gonna have to acknowledge it, you're gonna have to acknowledge this situation. And again, doesn't mean you have to be a heartless person. You could be kind, accept it for what it is, forgive the person, forgive yourself, and then move forward. Because sometimes we let our emotions be a part of identity, and that's where we struggle to move on. And also, when you're letting go, you're not losing a part of yourself. If anything, you're gaining that piece back, or recreating that piece to be fully yourself again. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you should change when you're changing your perspective. You're not losing a part of yourself, you're recreating yourself so you can be full again. And that's a beautiful thing. Another reason why we struggle letting go is control. Because I lost in this situation, or I lost control in the situation, or I lost myself, that means that everything I put in was all for nothing, right? That's not true either. You learned a lot with that certain individual, whether it's a partner or a friendship or a situation. You learned a lot. And it's up to you for you not to repeat that same mistake again. So now that you know better, I know you're going to make sure that you don't repeat that same mistake. That doesn't mean when something didn't work out for you, doesn't mean, oh, everything was for nothing. That's not true at all. Everything you do, whether, again, situation, it's all experience. You're going to gain wisdom from everything you know, from everything you've conquered. Whether it's by, seeing someone else suffer or you suffer, we all learn at different rates. Sometimes we gotta make the same mistake twice, right? But the important thing is that you remember the lesson. And even if you feel like all the work was for nothing, that's not true. Nothing is in vain. And one thing I can guarantee is that you'll come out on top. And when you let go, it doesn't mean that everything you put through is going to crumble, right? You're just letting go of things that aren't meant for you. Because one thing I'll let you know, when it comes to situations, control isn't real. It's absolutely not real in relationships. I've seen so many people try to control their partner, or try to control someone, or hell, you might even be the one trying to control your partner. Trying to control yourself, you can literally do everything, but you cannot manipulate how other people feel. You can't even try to manipulate yourself. I've seen people try, but how long can you put up that front for? All right. So again, give yourself grace. Just because one thing didn't work out for you doesn't mean you should close yourself off to the world. It's not the end of it. Rather, instead of closing yourself up, you should open yourself a lot more, because this world has yet to experience you. It's not, you can always start over. If your foundation is still solid, cool, keep it up. But if it's not, make some readjustments. So make sure next time you face an obstacle like this one, it's not going to crumble you. One thing as well, when it comes to creating our foundation, do not, and I repeat, do not force stability. All right? Stability will come when you stop resisting to change. You can literally try to change everything, and that's where stability falls through. Let it happen. If it needs to happen, let it. If it wants to walk away, let them. If it's going to fall apart, let it. By you trying to hold everyone together, you're going to break yourself, and you're being unfair to yourself. Another reason why we struggle to move on is because we try to rationalize our emotions. Again, and it's a me thing. I'm calling myself out because I struggle with this, right? So sometimes just feeling the emotions is enough. We try to find logic sometimes in our emotions, right? Like, oh, what if I feel this way? They made me feel this, they made me feel that. Sometimes feeling it is enough. You don't need to try to find evidence why it makes you feel some type of way. Sometimes feeling is enough. And yes, there's a time and place for you to rationalize your emotions on why you feel a certain type of way, or how come you feel mad when so-and-so said this, or just feeling it is enough. And if you try to ignore your emotions, that doesn't mean that they aren't there. They're still there. They're still there. But by ignoring them, you can't move on. You have to acknowledge your emotions in order to move forward. So acknowledge your emotions. Feel your emotions. When it comes to analytical thinkers like myself, I struggle with this. They don't make sense. They don't have to make sense. Feelings are feelings. Right? Like I mentioned earlier, feelings aren't a part of our identity. They're a part of us. They aren't us. So, for example, I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm this." No, you're not. You feel angry, you feel sad. Because the second you say, "Oh, I'm sad, I'm angry," you become that emotion. Whereas if you were to say, "Oh, I feel sad, I feel angry," you're feeling an emotion rather than saying you're an emotion. And when you think of it like that, you're able to control emotions so much better. So next time you feel some type of way, start saying, "Oh, I feel this way, I feel that way." And if someone tries to ask you why, or even yourself, acknowledge it. I just do. There's no need to put logic in emotions, because emotions are emotions. There's two things that don't intertwine: emotions and logic, for the most part. So when you try to rationalize your emotions to logic, you're honestly beating yourself up for a lot more than it needs to be. We overcomplicate things. Saying it because I'm calling myself out and I experience this myself. So it's okay to feel those emotions. If you don't feel safe revealing them to someone, go ahead and, hey, I'll be honest, I journal. I've I've shared my emotions to myself in my voice notes. You'll be good. You'll be good. Just make sure when you if you can't rationalize your emotions, something I could recommend doing is working out, going out for a walk, doing something active. Be productive, because with someone like myself, I'll be honest, I go crazy, and that's not a healthy way to live. You don't deserve that. We don't deserve that. The last reason we struggle with letting go is because of closure. There's a good amount of us that if you don't receive closure, then you can't move on. And that is such a trap. I'm letting you know right now, that is the biggest trap you can do to yourself. The second you rely on someone else's closure for your closure, that means you surrender your power to them. And that's unfair to yourself. Don't do that. When you do this, sometimes you kind of try to give yourself a reason, or you want to feel like you won in a situation. But you have to understand, some doors close without any warnings. Some people walk away without an explanation. So now you're left with this void and trying to figure out what the hell happened, or why did they do this to me? I didn't deserve this. And again, you're right. You didn't deserve it, right? But not everything's going to work out the way we want them to. Not everything's going to have a storybook ending. A lot of our endings have abrupt endings. So for us to think that we can have stable endings or good endings all the time, you're setting yourself up for failure, because that's not how the world works. This world is very unfair. And if you're being unfair to yourself if you think you're always going to have a good ending. I'm just being honest with you. Straight up. Not everything is going to work out like you want them to, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that that situation didn't work out, and that's that. If you dwell on it, again, you're going to have to learn that lesson, fully acknowledge what happened, and then go from there. Because the second we wait for someone else to give us closure, we're cooked. I'll be honest, we're cooked. And you don't deserve that. You deserve to move on. You deserve to experience something new, something that's healthy. Because the second you continue to stay attached to a situation or someone that didn't appreciate you, you're being unfair to yourself. And again, so when you detach yourself from someone, it's not a loss. You're clearing for things, so for better things to come to your life. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that there's plenty of more opportunities for you to win. And I get it, change can be very scary. But at the same time, just because something is comfortable to you doesn't mean it's good for you. You have to acknowledge and accept that not every ending is a bad ending. The same way not every ending is a good ending. Just because you're comfortable with it doesn't mean it's good for you. Yes, it might feel safe, but in the long run, How long is it gonna last until you feel like it's unsafe? Not everything is meant to last forever in this lifetime. Everything will come to its end. But just because it's a sad ending doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You don't have to wear your emotions like it's a medal of pain, of honor. It just proves that you haven't let go of the past. Let go of the pain that doesn't serve you anymore. Let go of that individual that doesn't serve you anymore. You can hold on to the memories, you can acknowledge the emotions it brings, but keep it at that. You deserve better, and I promise you, everything will make sense in the future. Even if it doesn't right now, it might be a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, however long it takes. It might not make sense right now, but I promise you eventually it will. And I hope and I pray you get the power to overcome your detachments, whether it's through people, substances, or whatever it is. I pray you get the power. And I believe in you that you can overcome anything that comes your way. So I hope you like this message. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe, like this video, share it with the people you care about, because someone need to hear this, okay? I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please take care. Y'all stay safe.